friends, my name's Dan. Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of Landscape Masters. Today, achieving dimensionality in trees. One of the key elements to achieving realism in painting trees is achieving a sense of depth. It's one of the hardest things to do because we're almost always drawing or painting on a two-dimensional surface, and we're trying to illustrate something that is 20, 30, 40, 50 feet deep, such as a tree. I'm going to give you just one trick for doing that here real quickly today, and that is understand that if the sun is behind you, then the leaves on the opposite side of the tree are going to be dark. The trunk is going to be light in front of those dark leaves, and then the light leaves are going to be in front of the trunk. Did you catch that? Now in just a minute I'm going to go the other way around. If the sun is behind the tree, then the leaves on the far side of the tree are illuminated by that sun. Then there'll be twigs, branches, and trunks in front of those bright leaves, and then dark leaves in front of that. And then finally I'm going to do a third one where the light's coming from the side. So that pretty much covers it. Light from the front, from the back, or the side. And in this case there'll be light coming from one side, so the leaves on one side of the tree will be dark. The trunk will have shadows on it that'll be really important in this case, and then there'll be lighter leaves on the other side. Now let's go back to then the first one. And oh, by the way, I have right here on my laptop a photograph that I took just last week in the Smoky Mountains, just sitting on a balcony, looked up and said, that tree would be perfect for teaching this aspect of dimensionality. So I'm looking at this while I do this particular sketch. So I'm going to do just a very quick, I want something darker than that, not quite so brown. To do a very quick rendering of trunks and branches on this tree. By the way, if you had to answer the question, what color are the trunks of a tree? Is the trunk of a tree? If you had to answer that in simple, grade school mindset form, well, in fact, most grade school children would say quickly, brown. And certainly they are brownish, but I believe that most of the time you would actually be better off thinking, as your default setting, you'd be better off thinking that trunks and branches are gray. Let them be gray in your mind, and then add brown that you actually see. Don't start out thinking that they're brown and then having to go toward gray. So I just want to do a real quick little study here, not a complete rendering of a tree, but first of all, a tree where the sun is behind us. Now, before I go on, it's very important that there be some light hitting this trunk. The entire trunk that I'm painting here today is in front of those dark leaves. Let me add a couple real important qualifications. First of all, what I'm teaching here, what I'm demonstrating here, I should say, cannot be, but this technique can be done in oil and acrylic, and as you can see here, even gouache, if you happen to be one of those rare fans of the strangely named medium gouache. I think I can just go right ahead then and do the light colored leaves that are in front of the trunk. So the thing I'm trying to demonstrate here is how to achieve, and you can see I'm using just a ratty old cheap chip brush, I like to call it, and doing essentially brush tricking. I don't think that's a good way to do a painting if it's a real painting, but it's a great way to do a little demo. So do you see the sense there, the feeling that you get that the light yellowish bright green leaves are on this side of the tree and the dark leaves are on the far side. So that's demonstration number one. Let's quickly do another one right here. This time I'm going to use a round brush to indicate the branches. Obviously, for some reason for this demo, I'm in the mood for a little sapling kind of trees. This is not a mighty oak. The principle still holds true for the mighty oak, of course. Now in this case, because remember this one, that I'm trying to give the illusion that the sun is on the far side of the tree. So in that case, all of the branches are going to be dark because the light is on the far side of these branches. Good enough? All right, done in watercolor. Leaves in front of that and see if it gives the impression, the illusion of depth on this tree. Yeah, pretty much. Can you see that? Can you see that we're trying to see a tree that has light coming from behind it? Real simple. Let's do one more. For some reason, it looks to me like this tree is leaning over. A nice dramatic, maybe next to the beach, maybe a live oak, windswept. All right. And then in this case, I want to give the illusion, give the impression that the sun is coming from our left. So I'm actually doing a sort of a mid-tone green right now, and then a light tone, a light green on top of that. Just a little bit, gives the impression of dimensionality. Again, each of these studies, I could go into great length, but you see how quickly I was doing them. I really just want to get into your mind how one of the ways to achieve dimensionality on a tree is the light coming from the front. Let me do it. Is it coming from the front? Let me move them in order. Is it coming from the front or from the back or from the side? So there's just one trick you can pick up to try to give the illusion of space and dimensionality in your tree. All right, that's all I'm going to do. Hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and leave comments, and give me a like if you will. Thanks. Bye-bye.